Warner Brothers has produced some of the most memorable cartoons of all time, from the eternally iconic Looney Tunes ensemble to the action-packed Teen Titans. To an extent, they probably helped mold the childhoods of everyone who happened to click on this video, so you guys mind if we ruin it real quick? I'm Kristijan with Wicked Binge, and this is 90s to 2000s Warner Bros. Animation adult jokes, cleanest to dirtiest.
Wanna go see a bear ride a motorcycle?
For this video, we're going through the most iconic WB cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s for a nostalgia trip that'll be as hilarious as it might be horrifying. We're kicking things off with one of the most iconic shows, not just from Warner, but from the 90s in general. It's time for Animaniacs, a complex gift. While on the hunt for a gift for Dr. Scratch and Sniff, Dot suggests an outfit from Oedipus Rex Menswear.
Ooh, how about an outfit from Oedipus Rex Menswear?
The name of that store is actually a reference to the Greek tragedy of the same name, minus menswear, where the king Oedipus finds himself accidentally falling in love with his biological mother. Ouch, right? Anyway, Yakko shoots the idea down.
Nah, his mom would hate those. Look, Freudian slips.
Oh dear. No relation. In a Noah's Ark-esque scene, the animals come in 2 by 2, including a cameo of Buster and Babs Bunny from Tiny Toons, who specify that they aren't related.
Let's hope not. It's a children's show.
Considering that they're rabbits in a romantic relationship, it shouldn't take a lot of thought to figure out what's going on in that arc. The stamps aren't the point. When Yakko invites a dancing showgirl over to check out his stamp collection, he's so persistent that even the fact that he doesn't have one isn't enough to stop him. He offers to let her open his mail if that's more her speed.
But Yakko, you don't have a stamp collection.
All right, then, you can open my mail.
Maybe he's looking for a new secretary? Or maybe he's... Look, we all know what he's looking for. In that much drip? Come on. On top of that, he's not ageist. When the Warner's teacher tries to teach the kids how to conjugate, Yakko misinterprets the word, telling her he's never even kissed a girl.
No, it's easy. I'll conjugate with you.
Good night, everybody.
Showing that he was ready to learn something that day. In another scene, when she pulls a marker out of her cleavage, Yakko quickly asks her what else she's got in there.
Ooh, what else you got in there?
Good night, everybody. Give me the bird. Every so often, you might notice a character asking the Warners to give them the bird in various contexts.
Never mind that. Just give me the bird. We can't. This is a family show.
They'd love to, but...
We'd love to, really, but the Fox censors won't allow it.
It's a real shame, honestly. Haven't they heard? Lake Titicaca. In one of many musical numbers, the Warners take the time to educate kids about geography with Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca. It's a fun name to say, right? Well, we don't even have to explain this one, do we? I mean, it is a real lake, though. You can look that up. As if they couldn't get more obvious.
Hello, my name's Yakko, and I'll be your king this evening. If you need anything, just ask.
In the episode King Yakko, Yakko's response to being called sire is yet another misinterpretation on his end, understanding the word as siring, a verb meaning to cause the birth of someone.
Sire?
Wait till we're alone.
So when Yakko tells her to wait till they're alone, I mean, you can connect the dots there. Now, this one was just inevitable. When Yakko finishes up a song naming all the planets of our solar system, Wakko corrects him at the end.
You forgot Uranus. Good night, everybody.
Knowing Yakko, though, there's no way he actually forgot. The Graduate, starring Wakko Warner. In one of many special intro sequences, the Animaniacs parodies a bunch of movies in a row. One such movie is The Graduate, and in the Animaniacs scene, all we can see is a large, shapely leg in front of a very nervous Wakko. Someone help him! You didn't think we were done with Yakko, did you? Nowhere near it. When Dr. Scratch and Sniff is trying to teach Yakko how to properly introduce himself to others, he asks, "How do you do?" to Hello Nurse, before quickly adding, "That thing with your mouth."
Do you do that thing with your mouth?
Noah, I think you might have been wrong about this being a children's show.
Take me away, but be gentle. I'm fragile.
Rocking out at the drive-in. Not all of the innuendos are Yakko's fault, though. When the main trio are jumping excitedly in the car at a drive-in theater, the car starts to bounce as well, and a horrified mother quickly guides her child away, mistakenly believing that cars aren't the only things getting parked in this lot. Slappy's favorite show. While Slappy's watching a TV show about squirrels, you might notice the narrator saying that he likes to hide his nuts where the sun don't shine.
There's nuts in many odd places where the sun doesn't shine on them.
So, since Slappy is a squirrel, would this show be, never mind, we don't actually want to know. Having fun, runt? It's already scandalous to have the word fetish blatantly in your children's show script.
What was with that back fetish anyway?
But it's another to show Runt actually strapped up and for Rita to immediately ask if he's having fun.
Having fun.
The Grim Adventures of the Warners. Speaking of potentially inappropriate channels, when the Animaniacs proclaim the Grim Reaper as their new daddo, they bombard him with plenty of requests, as children do, and one of them is to stay up late watching the adult channel.
Can we call you Dadoo?
Hey, Pop, can we stay up past 10?
Can we watch the adult channel?
Hello, nurse.
Given the sheer amount of innuendos we've seen so far, something tells us that this isn't just a request to stay up and watch Family Guy. Santa's load. We also don't want to know what Santa's bringing the Warners on Christmas. During their own rendition of The Night Before Christmas, Wacko talks of the siblings' hopes that Santa will leave a big load, followed by Yakko's "Good night, everybody" catchphrase.
Hopes that old Santa would leave a big load.
Good night, everybody.
Granted, they did actually go to sleep after that, but we all know why he uses that catchphrase so often by now. Beethoven, world famous. What? The joke of mishearing the word pianist as penis is as old as comedy itself. Mix it in with Yakko's habit of mishearing things constantly, and, well, you know where this is going.
And pianist.
You're a what?
Someone's got to make sure they can keep things good for the censors.
A pianist.
Good night, everybody.
Subpoena is even better. The episode La 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 sees Gertie and a judge arguing that Scratch and Sniff had violated the Burbank Penal Code.
The what?
The penal code, the penal code.
Mishearing, as usual, Yakko suggests that the two ought to try and get together. What a kind-hearted matchmaker. You want her to what? Apparently, poor comprehension skills run in the family. Dot mistakes Yakko's advice to search for fingerprints as a request to find the musician Prince.
I found Prince!
No, fingerprints.
When Yakko re-emphasizes the word finger, she gives it a hard pass. You know what the worst part is? Prince looked totally open to it. Madonna's Truth or Dare. Staying on the trend of making fun of celebrities, in one episode, Madonna invites two random guys to play Truth or Dare with her.
Come on, you guys. We're gonna play Truth or Dare.
Cue the sexy music, and anyone above the age of 12 knows exactly what's going on in that Truth or Dare party. Noah, inventor of tolerance. As the animals are boarding the Ark 2x2, Pinky boards the Ark in drag.
Who am I to judge?
And in terms of Animaniacs lore, we finally know who wears the pants in the relationship between Pinky and the brain. Watching the figure. In one episode, Slappy Squirrel pulls up her fur and shows off her surprisingly in-shape legs.
Hey, somebody's gotta watch it.
Like she says, someone's gotta watch that figure, right? It really makes you wonder how much more of a sleeper build she's hiding. Art is a spectrum. The Animaniacs aren't just going to sell out to paint a fresco of naked people for the money. No, they're gonna do it because they like painting naked people.
No, we're doing it because we like painting naked people.
Hey, at least they're honest.
Oh, more naked people!
Brain's compliment. When Brain meets his self-proclaimed biggest fan, Dolly Parton,
I'd say puberty was inordinately kind to you.
Go on.
referring to her massive breasts, of course. Now that's classic body positivity. My bottom hurts. One of Yakko's many "good night everybody" punchlines comes right after Wacko says that his bottom hurts.
Oh, my bottom hurts.
This can only mean one thing. You didn't save him from the Graduate reference, you monsters! Oh, and there's plenty more of these. When his client opens up to him about how he took his pet hamster to bed with him every night, Yakko, you guessed it, hits him with the "good night everybody."
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, speaking of therapy sessions, when Dr. Scratch and Sniff is showing Yakko some ink blots, every last one of them reminds him of girls. In his own defense,
You are obsessed with girls!
Hey, you're the one showing me all the sexy pictures.
and he does have a point, honestly. Like, that burger looks really good. Ooh, a Pez dispenser. When Wacko and Yakko mistake Scratch and Sniff's new desktop bust for a Pez dispenser, he quickly tells them to stop playing with my bust.
Do I need to say...
Good night, everybody.
Wacko's turn on Jeopardy. Wacko might not be as dirty-minded as his brother, but he can pull out some pretty dirty lines, intentionally or otherwise. In one episode, he says he'll blow the wad on national television.
I'll blow the wad.
By which he meant he'd bet all his money in the next round of Jeopardy. Word choice, though, is important, kids. Okay, how did they get away with any of this? Look, we've talked about a lot of dirty stuff today already in Just the Animaniacs, but a gaggle of children talking to a sentient chocolate bunny, followed by Yakko saying directly to us,
Wait till I get to the creamy filling.
followed further still by all three of them suggestively wiggling their eyebrows. For the love of all that is holy, please tell me the guy in there is just made of marshmallows. Cartoon logic at its finest. Well, we have to respect Yakko's ability to manipulate cartoon logic to suit his whims. In one episode, he summons a group of hot women to rock with.
I love cartoons.
And when they leave immediately, he tells them that if they stay...
Come on, one more, Rob. I'll even get in front this time.
Oh my gosh. Minerva Mink. When it comes to over-sexualized female caricatures, Animaniacs is a lineup that would make your average anime pale in comparison. We'll start with Minerva Mink. From Minerva Mink's naked silhouette being shown after she complains about a lack of privacy, to Newt the dog going feral after being given the option to blow on her toenails.
These are wet. Could you blow on them for me?
Just about every scene she's in is a goldmine for this show's brand of humor. She still doesn't hold a candle to Hello Nurse. Rounding out this show, we have Hello Nurse being, well, just look at her.
How come I always get the booby prize?
In practically every scene she's in, the boys are absolutely down horrendous over her. Even in the musical numbers, they can't keep their hands and lips off her. In another scene, when Yakko's granted a wish, that wish is of course a scantily clad Hello Nurse, and even with the power of magic, she still does not have any interest in this kid. Ouch, I mean, good for her, but that's gotta be humbling, which in this case might actually be a good thing. Good night, everybody. It's time to move on to our next show, Freakazoid, to see just how freakish the jokes could get. That's Uranus!
That's Uranus!
Yeah, I figured we'd put this one first since it's pretty much inevitable in most shows. No need to thank us. There's plenty for everybody. When Princess D and Sharon Stone have a conflict of interest, that interest being in Freakazoid, he suggests that there's enough of him to go around.
If not, I'll just have them draw me bigger.
The kid in us thinks that means buffer, but the adult in us knows exactly what size matters to him in that moment. The original twink. The Freakazoid's secret identity is that of a nerdy kid named Dexter Douglas, who's often bullied by his brother Duncan. In one episode, Duncan calls Dexter a twink.
What are you laughing at, twink?
A slang term used for effeminate gay men, not only ahead of its time, but honestly pretty dang far ahead of the censors. Gutierrez's scariest threat. Recurring villain Gutierrez will stop at nothing to make sure he can access the internet for his superpowered purposes. He threatens the superintendent to give him said access, or else he'll drain him of all his man juices.
I shall squeeze you, and I shall keep on squeezing you until all your man juices run dry.
That went from psychotic to homoerotic really quickly.
Wait a minute. You're gonna drink his juices?
It's not the only scary threat in this world either. Remember the time Fat Man threatened to personally sit on some hooligans who ridiculed overweight people?
If either of you ever again ridicule an overweight person, I will personally sit on you!
Now this is body positivity. Married with meat. While having lunch with Cosgrove, Freakazoid asks him why he's never been married.
Because I like meat too much.
Freakazoid informs him that marriage and meat eating are not mutually exclusive, which surprises Cosgrove, and given that gay marriage was only legalized about a decade ago, it might not be too tough to figure out what kind of meat he's craving.
If we had meat, this is where it would go.
A true blue hero. When a fight gets a little bit too extreme,
you kids might want to go grab some milk or an orange right now.
What an absolute king, redeeming the good name of the police everywhere. You've earned that meat, Cosgrove. What an interesting restaurant.
Is the gentleman still going? Tinky?
The show's absolutely wild dialogue is honestly legendary. They just had to limit it to 2 seasons for the sake of the universe.
Want to go see a bear ride a motorcycle?
From metaphor to reality. We've heard of crushing the censors before, but this is ridiculous.
Everyone is okay.
It's okay, random network censor lady. If we got crushed by an anvil on the job and nobody even bothered to warn us, we'd quit on the spot too. This show in general was way ahead of its time. Freakazoid has a particularly wild, out-of-pocket brand of humor that would honestly be very at home in modern meme culture.
Hey, you want a frozen banana?
Like Invader Zim or The Ren and Stimpy Show, we wouldn't be surprised if this one found its own cult following today.
Funny.
Speaking of cult followings, prepare for the world domination. Next is the Animaniacs spin-off, Pinky and the Brain. Some jokes for history buffs. There are plenty of references to history throughout the show. Some of them are rather blatant, like the song A Meticulous Analysis on History, but others are a bit more subtle. Particularly notable was the time Brain rejected an invitation to Donner the Reindeer's Christmas party
Somehow the idea of joining the Donner Party is unappealing. Almost through, Pinky.
This is a tongue-in-cheek reference to a group of 1800s Americans who tried to migrate westward for the sake of a better life, which only ended in starvation, disease, and cannibalism. Worry not, pop culture fans. There are plenty of entertainment references too. These include Bill Gates and Microsponge, a reference to Bill Gates and Microsoft, and even a parody of the Beatles in one episode. Shout out to the Winnie the Pooh reference where they visit Al Gore the donkey. Oh yeah, there's a lot of political humor too. It doesn't stop at just making fun of specific politicians. There are some jokes about the shady nature of politics in general, like the Pink Party having a sign that says,
"No longer under federal investigation." Ooh, catchy campaign slogan.
Which Pinky mistakes for their campaign slogan. A progressive use of cross-dressing. You might notice that these two dress up a lot. That's to be expected, sure, you can't exactly plan world domination without blending in with humanity, but oftentimes they end up dressing as women, even when it has nothing to do with the plan.
I am woman! Hear me roar! No.
Humorous though it may be, you gotta respect their commitment to the role. Brains struggles with addiction. Brain has actually struggled with addiction multiple times over the course of the series, most memorably against cigarettes and world domination.
Don't worry, little mouse. Tomorrow we'll put you in the addiction recovery program.
He was thankfully able to overcome the former of the two. As for the latter, well, he was able to overcome the former of the two. No, Brain, no, he isn't. One of the most memorable running jokes in the series is Brain's tendency to ask if Pinky's thinking what he's thinking.
I think so, but where would we find an open tattoo parlor at this time of night?
Usually, Pinky says something wacky and occasionally suggestive. Our personal favorite is Pinky saying he'd get clammy inside the cake, implying that he expected Brain to ask him to pop out of a cake for him. Brain's response is just as good.
Sigmund Freud would have had a field day with you, Pinky.
Getting overwhelmed with all these dirty jokes, well, never fear, citizens. Superman, the animated series, is here to save the day with more dirty jokes. It's so big! Lex Luthor's gigantic yacht impresses his female companion as the two enjoy some caviar on board.
It's so big, Mr. Luther.
What? That one's not a metaphor? She genuinely just made the observation. It's not their fault our minds are so far in the gutter, right? Nice S. There's no shortage of dirty puns and double meanings in this series. One of the most memorable is when Lois Lane compliments a picture of Superman, specifically his nice S.
Nice S.
Excuse me?
This can easily be misheard, as evidenced by Clark and Perry White's double take, and probably that of all the parents in the room. Steaming Load Tavern. If that weren't suggestive enough for you, look no further than Season 1, Episode 10's Steaming Load Tavern. Not sure about you guys, but we're gonna have to pass on any food from here.
Weasel Spit.
What a confidently gross name. Furiously in love. In one episode, Superman is brainwashed by Darkseid into thinking that he's his adopted son and turns evil as a result. His reward for all of his hard and evil work? Nights with the Furies, his group of female soldiers.
This calls for a celebration.
Go on. Savor the fruits of your victory, Cal. You've earned it.
Wow!
Joker and Harley Quinn's whereabouts. In the crossover episode World's Finest, Batman interrogates Binko about where Joker is.
Who knows? Making haha with Harley Quinn.
There's clearly not love in this relationship, so the exact meaning of haha in this context is anyone's guess, but whatever it is, we're glad it wasn't on screen for the kids' sake. Lana Lang, the realest thing. Natural beauty is something to be admired, a sentiment shared by Superman's old flame, Lana Lang. When asked if her jewelry is real, she suggestively answers that everything is real.
Everything is real, boys.
Threesome of Doom. Superman can take down more than one villain if the need arises, even if he might need some protection, which in one episode happens to be a latex bodysuit.
Well, what do you know? The Boy Scout brought protection.
That ain't fair.
Livewire calling it protection is almost too obvious, but it's a good example for the kids. If you're going to fight a murderer, remember to pack a condom. Wait, what? Slow down, Speedster. The Flash gets a little too big for his britches when he challenges Superman to a race. When Lois asks for a quote, he tells her she can get more than just a quote.
May I quote you?
You can do more than that, doll. How about an exclusive after the race?
A fast worker, eh?
Like, say, an exclusive after the race? Man, what a douche. A suggestive origin. During the pilot episode, Superman's parents decided to get one last love-in session in before Krypton blows up, with Laura L. asking him if the two can manage to get their baby to bed early.
Think we can get the baby to bed early?
Hey, priorities are priorities, I suppose. Premature product launch. Lex Luthor has come up with a machine that can disrupt the guidance system of any missile aimed at Metropolis, and he decides to test it by firing 2 missiles at the city. And, wouldn't you know it, the machine just happens to malfunction right after the fact.
Hey Lex, what went wrong? Premature product launch?
Lois describes it as a premature product launch, and given the phallic shape of the missiles, you can probably fill in the blanks of the joke they were thinking. Now let's move from one DC icon to another. It's time for Batman, the animated series. There's only one group more sinister than the Joker. The Joker may be evil and crazy enough to take on Batman repeatedly, but he draws the line at the IRS.
137 million?
Yes, and if I don't pay up, I'll go to jail for tax evasion.
Even Joker won't refuse to pay his taxes to those animals. A small subpoena. When the detective believes he recognizes Harley, she tells him that she served him a small subpoena at some point.
I think I served you a subpoena once. It was a small subpoena.
We all know what it sounds like. More interestingly, she served him the subpoena. Harley Quinn is canonically into pegging. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk. It's not a Wonderful Life. Batman and Robin discuss how the former has never seen the classic Christmas movie It's a Wonderful Life.
Relax, Bruce. You're gonna love It's a Wonderful Life. It's a great movie.
It's not relentlessly cheerful, is it?
His reason being that the title completely contrasts his own origin story. That's not even dirty, it's just sad. Riddler's redemption. When the Riddler is throwing a party to prove he's a changed man, a sentiment that's definitely genuine and not at all untrustworthy, a woman walks towards him seductively. Cue the bang sound effect to go with the Riddler's clear excitement.
Oh, Mr. Riddler, can you tell me what these do?
And it's no riddle as to what's going on in his pants. Wanna rev up the Harley? Really? Harley herself is basically a dirty joke, but when she directly asked Joker if he wanted to rev up his Harley,
don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom.
It's about the closest you could get to a character begging to be plowed in a kid's show. Harley Quinn's cream. Yeah, this one's straight up wild. Harley Quinn pops out of a pie covered in whipped cream or pudding or something sweet. She then serenades Mr. J and tries to seduce him into trying her pie.
Want to try some of my pie?
Insisting he'll want seconds. Spoilers, kids, she is not just trying to advertise the pie. Roxy Rocket. Yet, somehow Harley Quinn manages to not be the most adult villain, conceptually at least. That honor goes to Roxy Rocket, a former stunt woman who resorts to crime in order to find her thrills, which, given her voice inflections, seem to give her an almost orgasmic kind of pleasure.
Oh, baby, you're the best. The ultimate thrill, the final stunt.
With that, let's move on to a show that's at least a little more innocent. Tiny Toon Adventures. Playduck Magazine. With the internet being the internet, there's hardly any room for a Playboy joke in today's cartoons. It's almost nostalgic seeing Daffy read a copy of Playduck in the theater. It's also weird and kind of creepy, but nostalgic. A jiggling gigolo. If you thought Freakazoid being called a twink was wild, Fifi Le Fume calls Furball a jiggling gigolo.
Oh, my jiggling gigolo wants to play hide and go seek.
The term, minus the jiggling part, means a male partner who's financially supported by a woman, usually an older one. So, in other words, she just self-identified as a sugar mama? The Name Game. Elmira's iconic Name Game song involves a lot of rules that we're not going to memorize. Just know that it involves saying a name, replacing the first letter with M, F, and sometimes B, and also the word banana? I don't know, the game is weird. But given the emphasis on catchy rhyming, it's understandable why they didn't include Plucky Duck in the lyrics. One beer. In the episode One Beer, the Toons get their hands on alcohol. And no, that isn't a one-off joke, it's the full premise of the episode. They're tongue-in-cheek about the show being okay since it shows the dangers of alcohol, but...
DWI, driving while intoxicated. That's ridiculous. I don't know how to drive.
Man, that's pushing it for a kids show, huh? So was this. Perhaps one of the most unnecessarily subtle adult jokes in cartoon history is when Shirley the Loon got hit on the head with a book called The Mike Tyson Story, after which she says,
Now I know how Robin Givens feels.
Allegedly, Mike Tyson had beaten his partner Robin Givens back in the 80s. So, why this mid to late 90s cartoon felt the need to joke about it, and the censors didn't feel the need to stop it, is beyond our knowledge. But this is easily the most interesting adult joke in the series.
And I wanted to know if that was a deliberate in-joke or just a mistake. And when is Fifi gonna get her own series?
It's been speculated that this scene, and the neckbeard caricature therein, is based on Dennis Falk, an alleged cyberstalker who had a particular affinity affinity for Babs Bunny and Fifi LaFume. He even harassed the former's voice actor, and it's been rumored that his actions took away from the crew's enjoyment and led to the series' cancellation. Again, all speculative, but there are some video essays on the subject to check out if you're interested. Now we take another trip to Gotham. This is Batman Beyond, a dirtier mind than any of ours. When Amanda is describing a plan to clone Batman, she talks about how easy it was to find his DNA all over town, and before anyone even reacts, she immediately says,
Not remotely what I meant.
This indicates that Amanda has a very dirty mind and that perhaps her relationship with Bruce Wayne goes deeper than we know. Nelson's ride. Nelson tells his girlfriend that he's bored of the mall and wants to go for a ride.
You like that car more than me.
Who's talking about cars?
Oh, but not a car ride. Teenagers will be teenagers. Speaking of teenagers, when there's trouble, you know who to call. The Teen Titans. Displeased with the merch. When the team gets puppets based on themselves, Robin is pleased with the attention to detail that went into them. Beast Boy, after looking into the puppet's pants, is not.
Yeah, they got all the details just right.
Speak for yourself. I'm way better looking than this.
Simple solution, just turn into a horse, have them make a puppet of it, and perform a little transplant. Easy peasy. It's real to me, Starfire. Beast Boy enjoys a fold-out magazine page, often associated with Playboy and other porn magazines, only for Starfire's question to reveal that he's just looking at a car.
This is no ordinary land vehicle, Starfire.
Just before Johnny Rancid is able to finish his claim that his dog is kicking Beast Boy's butt, he was not going to say butt, Beast Boy kicks him with the back end of a horse.
My dog is kicking your ass!
Therefore, Johnny, it was his butt that kicked you. Poetic.
Booyah! And he kicked his butt, and the mutant...
Honorable mention to the time Cyborg told Brother Blood he could take his offer and blow it out his...
You can take your offer and blow it out your insolent child!
We'll let you guess this time. Comment your best guess below. Hands off the Grebnax. When Starfire complains that someone's claws are on her Grebnax, Beast Boy quickly turns back into his human form from an octopus, apologetically.
Someone's claws are on my Grebnax.
My bad.
That's nice of him, but since when do octopi have claws? Batteries not included? I'll be the judge. When Beast Boy and Cyborg are skeptical that Robin may be a robot, they decide to take matters into their own hands.
Check them for batteries.
Cyborg's hands, more specifically, and anyone who's heard of a prostate exam knows exactly where that white glove he slipped on is checking. See less? See more. When Seymour drops the fact that he has see-through vision, Starfire immediately blushes.
I bet I'm the only one with see-through vision.
Even an alien knows the perverted side of the human mind. Truly, this says a lot about our society. Okay, no, it doesn't. The man just wanted to see some Blackfire's potential betrayal. When Starfire sees Robin and Blackfire's shadows seemingly embracing and Blackfire telling him to...
That's perfect, Robin. Hold me just like that and...
She's convinced she might have stumbled onto something private.
Am I interrupting?
Until Robin gets suplexed across the room. Killer Moth's dastardly daughter. When Killer Moth forces Robin to go to prom with his daughter Kitten...
Hi, Robbie Poo.
No comment on that name. Starfire immediately objects out of jealousy, complete with a little boob jiggle. Someone took care and time to animate that. Más y Menos is constructive criticism. Although it's in Spanish, Más y Menos offers some criticism to the Titans. Their most scathing review is of Cyborg, about whom they say a phrase that can basically be translated to, "This old man is us." Ay, Dios mío. We've reached the final leg of this childhood ruining experience, and our grand finale is Jalwin Showdown. Another show asking for the bird. Not just that, in one episode, Jack insists that if anyone deserves the bird that the gang is looking for, it's him.
Bird of paradise. Hey, if anyone deserves the bird, it's me.
His opponents would surely agree that he deserves some kind of bird. Omi is in heat. When Omi makes a winning chess move, he's on fire, and he knows it.
I am in heat. No, Omi, you're on fire.
Unfortunately, he words it in a way that makes it sound like he's turned on by the act of destroying chess pieces. To each their own, just maybe keep it to yourself. A whole new world of opportunity. When Monkey Jack has his monkey staff once again, he's excited to, and I quote, scratch a place that he's never scratched before.
If you would kindly look away, I feel an urge to scratch in a place where I have never scratched before. Oh.
Given that the screen cuts away immediately and his moans sound very content, any boy above the age of, say, 13 can likely fill in the blanks there. Be careful, little hands, where you pluck. The gang gets turned into potted plants, except for Omi, who is more interested in tasting the fruit of his newly potted buddies. We could make so many jokes here, but...
Well, just be careful what you go plucking there, partner.
...is enough of an implication on its own. And if the anime aesthetic wasn't clear enough, enough. In one episode, the group is riding a dragon, and Omi looks very pleased where he's seated, right behind a girl wearing a skirt.
Mwah! Good night, everybody.